Hi. Welcome back to Interstellar Observatory number 7 and our course on our world and beyond. In this session we discuss Pluto's celestial body. Come along with us.
Ninth Celestial Probe. Pluto's Celestial Body Report. Mastering mathematics from recently championing newly discovered calculus, there was an apparent victory for Leibnizians over Newtonians in Neptune's Roman nomenclature instead of the Grecian Poseidon. Reestablishing British astronomical hegemony where, though politically divided since July 4, 1776, we are bound by an English perspective of the universe, Pluto was discovered. Einstein published Annus Mirabilis papers in Annalen der Physik explaining his theory of mass-energy equivalence in 1905 where the search for celestial light yet discovered could be so by common men looking to stars for having conquered all else on Earth. In Flagstaff, Arizona, the Lowell Observatory was founded to hunt. Like metal detectors comb beaches for treasures, telescopes had night skies the cosmos for stars. The Industrial Revolution and the discovery of Neptune greatly increased the demand for residential celestial exploration for differences from previous days' locations. Now, for the last time, from our perspective or any one spot on Earth, we see the galaxy as we rotate around the equator of the Sun where seeing objects that emit light outside of our solar system are stars, and the only objects that move faster are within our system. Calculating Neptune, why wouldn't there be another body which just hadn't been found yet? The insistence of Percival Lowell, since 1906 aided the search for a ninth planet beginning. Planet X. Vesto Melvin Slipher directed the then 23-year-old Clyde Tombaugh who did so using a blank comparator, Tuesday the 18th day of February in 1930 discover our ninth orbiting body. Broadcasting findings by telegraph that crisp spring Thursday's 13th of March to the observatory at Harvard stamped its time and date. Of the plethora of names suggested, with Pluto chose, his Roman equivalent is Dispater or Rex Infernus where seemingly the former characterizes Plouton and the latter Hades. The Sun's ninth orbiting body was confirmed so by parallax. Concerning necromancy, it is not necessarily of Greek culture. Since discovery it was considered a planet, but it was recently demoted to a dwarf planet, and while personified in the Latinized Greek god Plouton, the Necromanteion of Acheron is but one entrance to the underworld.
Beyond Neptune's orbit is a ring of bodies known as the Kuiper belt where within the ninth largest celestial body orbits the Sun. Of rock and ice and with 5.5 hours before light from the Sun reaches the planet, it comes closer to the Sun than Neptune at times, but orbital resonance prohibits collision presently. The atmosphere of carbon monoxide, methane, and nitrogen is thought to freeze as the celestial body on its elliptical orbit moves further away from the Sun towards its aphelion, 3 billion kilometers in difference from the perihelion with surface in equilibrium. Charon, Styx, Nix, Kerberos and Hydra are the 5 moons of Pluto with the first being considerably larger than the others. Growing up learning there were 9 planets, it was a blow to educational fortitude to know when the International Astronomical Union in 2006 updated its definition of planets excluding Pluto classifying it a dwarf planet that it could be done. With a Plutonian orbit taking almost 248 Earth years, since discovering it has yet to complete a revolution and won't for another 155 years.
Adopting Greek religious structure, Planet X, being personified in a name was so in Pluto which derived from Plouton distinguished first in Greek literature. Of the Kuiper belt, Pluto is a Roman version of the Greek Plouton, and thus derived from Hades who though technically the same are distinguished in literature. In the cosmos of the ancient Greek world with Zeus sovereign over the air and Poseidon king of the sea, the underworld was so assigned to Hades. Though Pluto is not in literature of archaic Greece, the only of Zeus' siblings not an Olympian, Plouton is distinguished in literature since the Greeks' classical period in many works but of Plato, perhaps, more. The name, Pluto, is derived from Greek, Latinized from Ploutos, wealth, whose character differs from Hades where the fundamental difference is one concerns men's souls while the other does the physical bodies of men and richness of the earth. Hades' story is of a less desirable abductor of women to whom men owed their mortality, while Plouton is more so with Persephone a Dispater or rich father to the goddess of vegetation. With Persephone they ushered souls to afterlives was for most mortals done as unwillingly as her abduction. To Pluto his wife was more so a maiden or chora, where seen as a loving monogamous husband, he was an uncompromising king. Many practiced a more common than thought age-old practice of necromancy which wasn't Grecian but more so human nature. Also known as the Roman Arcus, Hades, Pluto, and Dispater are depicted holding a bident which similar to Poseidon's trident conveys the dual nature of man.
The gates of Hades were not all connected to sorrow as death was then considered an only guarantee, and men charged headfirst to battle for the honor of principle against evil. Happily, men marched to battle seeking martyrdom for causes of which they only knew contrasting colors. Souls crowded the gates of Hades, passing the mightiest three-headed canine called the Kerberos and crossing the Styx River both divide the land of the living from that of the dead. At Cape Taenarin, Aelpatripa Cave, Nader River, and Gorge there are gates where in Acheron the Necromanteion is another entrance to the underworld where connections between those of the living could better experience spirits of those who once walked with them and those who prove mortal a space in the afterlife. A Necromanteion is translated to Oracle of the Dead, while a place of Plouton is a Ploutonian. A Ploutonian is at Hierapolis near Pamukkale in Turkey, and perhaps on Palatine Hill to Arcus there.
Though no longer considered a planet, this dwarf of one is personified and Latinized from of the Greek Plouton, but necromancy predates Grecian culture. The ninth celestial body is small and with 5 satellites of the Kuiper belt. Hades and Pluto, though essentially the same, are differentiated in literature where the former's negative connotation is countered by the latter's of groan. There are several gates of Hades, a Necromanteion and a Ploutonian, but necromancy may be natural in the absence of religion proper.
That concludes the information we have for this session. Our session in our 10th interstellar probe, we researched the brilliance of the main source of light, heat, and gravity in the dark, cold and empty depths of space. In our Sunday we trust we will see you there. Thank you for your time and consideration.